everyone, and welcome to My B2B Coach 5 Tips, session number 2. Today, I'm lucky enough to have Joe Frost with me from yorCMO, a great company that we use here at My B2B Coach, and he's going to share 5 tips about marketing. So, hello, Joe, and why don't you share your 5 tips?
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me. Like I said, or like you said, I'm with yorCMO. We help businesses that are wanting assurance that their marketing is working for them to drive sales and working to meet strategic objectives. And we do that through providing them with a fractional coach, fractional CMO that helps build their strategy and execute the strategy over an 18 to 24 month period. The 5 tips that I want to share with you are very core to what we do with everything for our clients. And it's based around these 6 fundamentals of marketing. So the first tip I want people to understand is that fundamentally, marketing doesn't change. Understand that there are 6 components of marketing that are industry agnostic. Whether it's B2B, B2C, retail, these fundamentals apply. We use them with all of our clients. So that's kind of the first tip itself. The second tip I'd like to share is in that second fundamental there, the understand your buyer box. We have gleaned so much value from doing what's called buyer interviews, 30-minute conversations with existing buyers or prospects, trying to understand their journey. So it's more about the first time they think about your product and service and the steps they take to find you than it is about their demographics and geographics and psychographics. So understanding your buyer journey is my tip number 2. Tip number 3, positioning your offer. I want you to think about an XY axis and figure out the 2 things that are most important about what you do to your target audience. So for our example, we have a proven process and we have proven people. We put that on our XY axis, and we want to be at that top right-hand corner, whichever side of the screen it is. And we want to own that in the customer and prospect mind. Competitors are different areas of that grid. So think about the 2 things you want to own and own the edges. That's a Seth Godin term. The 4th thing to share is now more than ever, but always, marketing's purpose is to drive sales. You do not want to have marketing that is creative for creative sake, branding for branding's sake. No, marketing needs to drive sales. So you need to make sure that you're aligning your sales and marketing team internally and from a strategic level, they have to be blended together from the very top. And finally, my 5th tip is it's our secret to success when it comes to execution, and it's having a cadence for planning and accountability that's centered around a weekly 30-minute marketing check-in where you're looking at scorecards and priorities every week for 30 minutes as a team. It's short, it's highly productive, and it is fundamentally the way we make sure we get things executed at yorCMO for our clients. So those are the 5.
Yeah, those are great tips, Joe. One question, I know in today's economic world, there's some stuff going on, obviously, that people are dealing with. Can you tell me about how you might have had a successful pivot or helped a client understand where they could pivot to with marketing?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We actually just did a webinar on this yesterday. We shared 5 successful pivots, and we built a framework for how companies can walk through the process to develop their own successful pivots. And our team is happy to walk people through that at cost. But the one pivot that stood out to me yesterday was we had a publishing company who's typically been advertising driven. They have 10,000 subscribers of tradesmen, both Hispanic and non-Hispanic tradesmen, and they would sell their publishing advertising to these trades groups through like Home Depot and Lowe's and equipment manufacturers. Well, when the COVID hit, all ad sales pretty much went away immediately. And so when they looked at what they could do with what they had, what their core competency were as a company, the pivot that came to mind is we have these 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, they're not going to pay for advertising, but what if we researched what was going on in their world that might be relevant to give feedback to the advertisers so they understand their market better? So they partnered with a publishing research or a research company and started surveying the 10,000 contractors. And what we found, and it's one of my CMOs that's doing this work, is that the value that was coming in from these surveys were super educational and informative to the advertisers. So the advertisers created two new revenue streams. One, they started advertising again with the new information they were learning. That went up a little bit. But two, they started paying for additional questions to put in the surveys. So now they've created a whole new revenue stream that the company never had before, which will probably be everlasting now. So it was a really good pivot, really smart, I thought.
Yeah, that is a great story. Good success story. And then for the business owners, the key people, key executives listening right now, if there was just one thing you wish or you think every business should do when it comes to marketing, what is that one thing that they should for sure do?
Oh, I don't want this to sound self-serving, but don't do marketing in a vacuum. There are way too many business owners I know that are very smart. They're actually really great marketers. But when they get in a silo and thinking about the problems of their customers, they get in this single feedback loop. I got a problem. Here's a solution. I'm going to go implement it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to go find another one, implement it. That feedback loop is not healthy. The double loop feedback that you want by bringing in an outsider, and it could just be another business owner, it could be internal team members, and start brainstorming. Instead of we have the same problem, instead of having one solution, brainstorm 10 solutions, and it's usually the 6th, 7th, or 8th that becomes the good one to test, then implement and test it, and then test 10 more, so that you're not in a silo. Really, you need that outside perspective to get you out of your own way.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you sharing your 5 tips today. It was great and great information. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, John.